We're back with WSJ Lunch Break. I'm Wendy Bounds. We'll call it urban fishbowl living. More architects are erecting glass houses in city neighborhoods, but what do you have to be careful for besides the birds hitting your window? Nancy Keates has been reporting on this. She joins us now. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Wendy.
Where is this happening specifically? I mean, I've seen a lot of glass houses more and more springing up in more suburban and country settings where you have the space and not the people wandering by on the streets. You say this is in urban areas. What cities are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much any city you could name. I mean, we looked specifically at houses in Philadelphia, Chicago, LA. LA, it's happening a lot because of the weather. It's nice and warm, so it's not so much of an issue with heat.
And let's talk about the technology that's made this happen. I mean, glass on its own has become much more insulated in recent years. Soundproofing, privacy proofing. Walk us through what are some of the materials people are doing to make this happen, using to make this happen.
It's partly material driven. There's something called smart glass. Glass now, you can put special coatings on it. You can put several layers with gas in between, and that helps block noise and light. You know, depending on the time of day, the glass can change. That kind of glass tends to be pretty expensive, and a lot of architects I spoke to say they don't really like to use it so much for residential projects because it makes the house look like an office building. But and you know, a lot of them like to use just clear glass. But it's definitely partly technology, and it's also architectural techniques. So, for example, they've worked out ways to angle glass or to put the glass in certain places so it's harder to see from the street.
You know, Nancy, one thing that occurred to me in sort of thinking about this is it seems like people are just kind of giving up a little bit on privacy with these houses, and I wonder how much this sort of plays into our overall cultural zeitgeist, you know, where we kind of give it up on Facebook, we give it up on social media, there's no privacy anymore, and maybe that comes to our living spaces to some extent too.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I mean, most of the homeowners who I spoke to, they weren't worried about privacy. A lot of them don't even have blinds. They said things like, well, I have nothing to hide. You know, it's okay if people see me. And one woman said her daughter's room actually is up by the window. And she said, well, you know, it's her daughter's desk is up by the window and the bedroom's in the back. And she doesn't mind if people see her daughter doing homework. So I think that does play into it a lot. The other reason that people gave me was that they wanted to feel like they were outside when they were in a city. They want the best of both worlds. So they want to be in a city where there's all this energy and diversity, but they also want to see the sky and have some light.
What about vandalism? And people worry about that more, I think, sometimes in urban areas, and people, you know, obviously have gawkers coming by and taking pictures of some of these homes. They look so unique and different, but what about the danger of somebody just hurling a rock into your window?
I guess that can always happen, you know, no matter how big the window is. But, and, you know, it's definitely an insurance issue. I mean, I spoke to some people in the insurance industry, and they said anytime you have a big hole, you know, with just glass on it, that's probably going to be more expensive to insure. But on the other hand, one architect who built himself a house like this in Memphis told me that when the alarm goes off, all the lights go off. And so therefore, anybody who's in there is going to be there for everyone to see. So he doesn't feel worried about it.
Interesting. Great looking buildings, though. I have to say, I love the design. Nancy Keates, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.